So you have Patrick Findaro here, co-founder at Vetted Biz. Very excited to have on Claudia Carrillo. She's one of the latest franchisees for Got You Covered. I had the president of Got You Covered on, Paul Lindenberg, a few months back, and it was great to have Claudia accept Paul's invite to be a franchisee guest on our podcast, Vetted Biz, as we're looking to have on more franchisees. And we've had conversations with multi-unit operators. We've had conversations with franchisees that have been open for years. And it's good to have a franchisee that recently went through the discovery process of selecting the brand, working with a franchise consultant, Jaime Sanchez, who we both know from Interlink and part of the Franchise Broker Association Network. So Claudia, really excited to have you on today, and thanks for joining.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here.
So we were chatting before I hit the record, but I mentioned my brother has been in Mexico City for years. You originally, you were born in Texas, then you grew up in Mexico. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I was born in Eagle Pass, Texas, and I moved to Los Cabos, Mexico when I was only 6 months old. So yeah, I was raised there.
What drew you to go back up to the States for high school and college?
My mom sent me. I didn't even want to.
She was like, get out of the house.
Yeah, so it was 2010, but in 2009, I was an exchange student in Canada, and I was ready to go back to Mexico, just like to graduate with my friends and everything. And then she calls me and she's like, you know what? There's a saying in Mexico that is just like, I don't know if it makes sense in English, but like, you already flew out of the nest. Why come back? I was just crying, like, you don't want me anymore, la, la, la. And she's like, do you want to go to Austin? I'm like, why Austin? Like, what's in Austin? And then she sent me here. I fell in love, and I've been here for the past 12 years now.
Yeah, it seems like Austin, I'm in Miami, and I feel like we've had a wave like over the past 10, 12 years, but like Austin even bigger, where it's become like a boom town. All these Californians move in.
Ever since I moved here, it does not stop. Like, it's just booming and booming. And like the skyline, it's just a completely different one since 2010.
Yeah, so my wife and I went there 3 years back, visiting different franchisors, having different business meetings, and just the whole vibe of the city. It seems like everyone's on a high, and just different business opportunities. And it's good to be opening a business where there is growth.
Yeah. And to be honest, I've been trying to get out of Austin. I'm like, we've been here for so long, let's explore another city. And every time that I compare cities, I'm like, but Austin has this and Austin has that. And I love Austin. I haven't gone anywhere.
And Claudia, tell me a little bit, how did you decide to go down the franchise path? I imagine you and your husband both have great jobs. Like, why go into entrepreneurship?
Well, I was doing sales so I've been doing interior design for the past, I don't know, like 6 years. And then I was doing sales, but to be honest, like, I wasn't making any commissions. So it was.
So your boss was keeping the big payouts.
Yeah. And I loved the experience. Like, it was great. If it weren't for that experience, I wouldn't be here. Like, I wouldn't feel that confident to be doing this. However, I was just like, I didn't know where I was going, to be honest. I was just like feeling stuck, like I wasn't as motivated. It was just like, and then since the pandemic, I was working in a gallery, like that's, the retail store. And then because of the pandemic, I moved to support, and that was it. I'm like, I don't like this, la, la, la. But
people going to you with their problems or what?
With every single problem, like I was solving every single problem. No one's going to go online and say like, oh my gosh, I had such a positive experience. It was just like bombarding me from their problems. So anyways,
you didn't sign up to be a therapist. You're like, what? I want to do interior design.
I want to do interior design. Yeah. And that wasn't it. But I was pregnant at the time, and then my baby was born, and I'm like, what am I doing? When Jaime presented me with this opportunity, I was just like, you're crazy. I'm not going to quit my job and quit my monthly income. Yeah. I need stability for my family. But then that got me thinking, like, I'm not going anywhere from here. Like, I see what my boss is doing, and I don't like that. Plus I was working retail hours, and just like support, that wasn't my jam. So we started exploring the options, and he walked me through the whole process. it was just like an instant connection. And of course, I was just like scared to do that switch, but I did it anyways, and I couldn't be happier.
That's great. And what other type of options? You don't have to name names, but like what type of industries did you explore in the franchising world?
Everything. Like I knew from the get-go that I wanted to stick with some with interior design or something around it. And then, yeah, he just presented me the option of Got You Covered. It's a window treatment industry. And I'm like, you know what, that's amazing. Like that makes sense. I've been doing consults for so long now. Like I think it's a perfect fit for me.
Well, I mean, when the pandemic hit Miami, and we didn't have much of a pandemic here in Miami, it was pretty
We
loose.
did here in Texas.
Yeah, exactly. When it hit here, that was one of the first things I realized. I'm like, wow, our windows are dirty. Like, and also just everything about like looking outside our apartment, like you find all the issues with your house when you spend double the amount of time in your house, and windows are a big part of that with lighting and
they are a big part of it. And then what you just mentioned, like with the pandemic here in Texas and well, the whole world, everyone just like they were working remote. So they're spending more time in their homes. They're looking at everything. Like they want to remodel everything. They want to like just invest in improving their houses. Like they want to feel good in their home. They want it to be beautiful and functional. So yeah, that was amazing for that part of
so you saw that there was like this big opportunity in terms of like the home services sector and especially window treatments. And you're like, okay, I want to be part of this.
I want to be part of it. Yeah, because honestly, like in my past job, we saw those numbers go up and up and up and up. And I'm like, hold on, what's going here? Like what's going on here? And yeah, that was it. People were just like bored at home, just like wanting to do something else with their sofas and remodel the whole thing. So I'm like, there's an opportunity here. Like,
and what's the niche? Like, what type of services do you provide as the Got You Covered Austin owner?
The model of the franchise is we can do whatever we want. Like we can have a showroom or we cannot. We can have employees or we cannot. Like for now, we don't have a showroom. I'm the only employee and owner of the company. And I'm going to their houses. So I'm bringing every single sample to their home and I explain everything and we just try to find the right solution for them. Everything that goes above the window. So drapery, blinds, shutters, soft and hard treatments. So yeah.
That makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I can imagine like every room of the house can benefit in some way or another from having whether it's like dark out blinds in the bedroom or
like
or
room
a certain type of
drapery. And then motorized, that's a big thing right now. Everyone knows Alexa. Everyone wants to say just like, Alexa, raise my shades, or just like movie time, and they go down. Like that's a flex to have in your house. That's amazing.
And I imagine if like you opened up like Claudia's window treatment in Austin, like it would be pretty tough with the supply chain to try to get the right products.
Yeah, no one knows who Claudia is. Yeah. Yeah. So I love to be part of that umbrella.
Yeah.
If I should say so. Yeah. Because I mean, the Got You Covered corporate really got you covered. Like they walk you through everything. Yeah. They train you. Like I have like interior design background, but to be honest, I didn't know anything about window treatments. Like there's so many components. There's so much stuff out there. So I was just like, how am I going to do it? And they're like, no worry, we got you covered. So they flew me out. Just like we went to a conference. I got to meet like every single owner and it was amazing to see.
So just timed up, like your discovery day was kind of when there was like the franchisee convention.
Yes. So I was already making the decision, like me and my husband, like, okay, is this the right one? I'm like, yeah, I think it is. And then normally they don't invite anyone to the conference if they haven't gone through training yet.
Yeah.
But it was so close together. So it was conference and then 2 weeks later it was training. So they're like, you know what, you're invited, just come over. So it was amazing to see that before training. And yeah, they trained me for a whole week, and then they give out your information to every single vendor. Like we have more than 20 plus vendors that are from the franchise. However, I can still go out there and look for just like local vendors as well, and I can create my account with them. So I have that
So
opportunity.
there's the option, like working with the franchisor, you can get leads on people that need window treatment, but then also referrals with probably a network you've already kind of established as being in the interior design world for 6+ years.
Yeah.
So in these conversations with franchisees, like what did they tell you? Like what validated, choosing Gotcha Covered, and probably some things that maybe would help you grow faster?
Yeah. So they gave me all types of tips and tricks. But it was just like very black and white. They're like, you know what, try to learn every single product before going to consults. And then they were saying like, no, you should go to consults and then like just learn as you go. Because I mean, to be honest, like the learning curve is humongous.
Oh
like
yeah, I
there's
can imagine.
always something new. There's always a new product. There's new vendors, new collections, like new everything. Like if I try to absorb everything before going to the client's home, I'm gonna go blank. Like I know my brain. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do whatever I want and I'm gonna risk it. Like I'm just gonna go to consults and see how it goes. And yeah, it was good. But yeah, it was amazing to know their process, and then that got me really confident. Plus meeting them at conference, it was amazing. I think there's like 133 franchisees right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be like super competitive. And of course it is, but they're family. Like I was so happy. Yeah, it was, I was so happy to see everyone just like rooting for each other, just like, you can do that, like clapping through their progresses. And yeah, that was really, really amazing to see that.
And it seems like that kind of ethos also spreads like to the employees, to the customer. Like the rating of Gotcha Covered franchise locations is super high on Google reviews.
It is. Yeah. 4.9.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that average. Paul, the president of Gotcha Covered, told me that, and then I started going through some of the locations, and I was amazed. And also the qualitative input was really high too. They gave a 5-star, but they talked about how that franchisee was instrumental in changing their home and going on and on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything you would have maybe done differently, like going about the franchise path? Would you have started it earlier?
Oh my gosh, 100% yes. 100% yes. But actually, the whole process was fairly quickly. Like Jaime was telling me this for the past 2 years, and I'm like, no, maybe later. But the one time I remember, I was just like, I was off work and I was just like crying, like, I don't like this life that I'm living. Like, what am I doing with this? And then I called him like, okay, I think we're ready. And then we started the process, and within 2 or 3 months, we were already in.
Wow.
So it was fairly quickly, but it was like a long time for me to process the whole idea.
Percolating the idea of like being your own business owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's like probably one of the benefits of franchising, where because you have all the opportunities and the data, and especially if you're working with an advisor, it can be like a 2 or 3 month process compared to like if you were going to start your own window treatment business or buy an existing window treatment business, it could take 1 year, 2 years to really go about it.
And he told me like, you can go as slow or as fast as you want to go with this process. Just take your time and just like do whatever feels right for you and your family. And I'm like, okay, this feels right. Like I want to be able to provide for my family, just not sit there and receive the same paycheck every single month, feeling miserable at my job. So this is hard. It's really hard. I think I'm working like more hours than I ever worked before, but it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah. And I'm sure, the time you put in now is going to have dividends in the future, but anyone starting a business, whether it's a franchise or startup, the first 2 years are critical.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. And hopefully in the future, I can have like employees doing the design consultations for me. I can have a showroom. Like right now, my garage is my showroom. So yeah.
Well, Claudia, thanks so much for joining us today, talking about how you decided to invest in a franchise, why you decided to go with the franchise, and why Got You Covered was that one. Sure. And we wish you all the best of luck on having tons of consultation and many happy window treatment clients in the Austin area.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Patrick, for having me today.